Welcome to this video, EFT Tapping for Phobias. I am Rachel Kent and today I'm delighted to be discussing working with phobias with Louise. Louise is an advanced EFT practitioner with a diverse background in complementary therapies. She is author of the book Letters to Matthew, Life After Loss, which she wrote following the death of her son, Matthew. In this discussion, we touch on the following areas: fear of water, fear of spiders, giving choice and control, tearless trauma technique, fear of cats, fear of flying, working alone or with someone. Brilliant.
Like, for example, I was also waxing, because originally I come from a beauty therapy background, and I was just waxing my regular lady doing her bikini wax, and she was talking about how she had a fear of water. She's been coming to me for years, so why don't you come and do some EFT with me on that? We did one session, Rachel, one session, and it's just over her fear of water. And now, she was just coming for a regular bikini wax, and it's great. It's great.
Can you tell me some of the different issues that you've worked with? And yes, some may be solved in one session, like a specific phobia, and other things might need a few sessions. And
I've had some really interesting phobias. I had a lady who had a phobia of buttons. A gentleman who was phobic of cats. I've had a lot of phobias. A young teacher, newly qualified teacher, came to me because she had a phobia of spiders, and she said, "Louise, if there is a spider in the classroom, I am going to traumatise the 30 kids because I am just going to have a meltdown." So that was a great success story. So lots of.
Just tell me, say for example, a spider phobia. How did you prove that it was gone? How did you test that?
She recognised that. She recognised something inside, that there's a spider, and there was a spider on the wall behind her, and she actually got a glass and a card, put the glass over the spider, and she said she didn't like it, but she wasn't phobic of it, and she took it outside and it went, and her parents were gobsmacked because they've never thought that she would be able to do that. So, but at the same time, during the session, I did actually go out to my back garden before she came, and I captured a big black garden spider, and I put it inside a Ferrari watcher, perspex thing with some twigs. And when she came for her first session, I did say to her, "I have got a spider, but it's in my garden." And she was like, "You're not going to bring it in here. You're not going to bring it in here." "No, I'm not going to bring it in here." And we tapped on how she felt about me having a spider in my garden. Got to calm down. I said, "How would you feel if I just brought it into my kitchen?" Now, you know where my treatment room is, it's the other end of the house. And what we did, we just brought it nearer and nearer until it was she could see it from the doorway in the hallway. And she was like, okay. She started to get a little bit inquisitive. She wanted to see how big it was and how hairy it was. So we brought it a bit closer. And the funny thing about this story is, Rachel, at the end of this session, she actually had it on her lap, and she was, "Oh, is it alive?" And I'm like, "Yes, if you tap it, it's definitely alive. It was alive when I put it in there." And then she said to me, "Is it okay if I take the top off?" And I went, "Oh my God, no."
And then what you did was bring it into real life. What I want to say something about how you did that, because what I love about that is that you did it in stages, for one, but you didn't, you see, if I had been working with that, I would have said, imagine there's a spider in my garden, which is like 10 yards away or something, and how would it be for you when it comes closer? And I would bring it in the imagination closer and into the room, and then it's right here, but it's still in the imagination. And of course the real test is real life, like a real spider in real life. So I just want to say I love how creative that was, that you actually set up the real thing, but she was in complete control over how close it came. And she had a choice. And the thing is, when people are in fight, flight, fear, they lose their control and their sense of control and having a choice, and it keeps them in fight, flight, fear. And when we bring the element of choice back and tap away the stress and the fear, then someone can choose where they put themselves in relation to it.
Absolutely,
so, for example, when I do the Tearless Trauma technique, the way I teach it, which is a technique for not having to tune in and look at a traumatic memory, but knowing the memory is there, not wanting to go there, not wanting to open Pandora's box, but imagining that if they went to that memory, it would be acute, it would be a number 10 out of 10 terror, and then tapping on it, and then guessing what the number would be if they looked at it. And that's the magic thing, guessing and if, not actually doing it. And then, but I, like you with that, I would say, how close would you bring that memory now and still feel calm and okay here? And then they'll say, oh, I could bring it to so-and-so, or I'll bring it 3 feet away, or now it's in the room, and tap until they could literally look at it. It's quite remarkable when you do it in real life like you, or use the imagination, because we're tuned in.
Well, I did a similar thing with a chap that his wife had booked a holiday to some Greek island, and then he was told by a friend, you're going to hate it there because there's loads of cats. And so that's why he came to me, to get rid of his phobia of cats. And I said to him, how would you feel if, you knew that I had a cat here? And he went, well, I know you haven't, because this chap was a friend of my husband, and for some reason he didn't think I had a cat. Well, I did have a cat, and it was asleep in the room. He said, well, I know you haven't, so I'm absolutely... He said, I wouldn't have been able to come to you for treatment if I knew that you had a cat. So I was like, okay. So at the end of it, after I think it was 3 or 4 sessions with him, I actually had him he walked through my house, and he was on my patio, and the cat was moving and purring in between his ankles. And he said, I don't like cats. He said, but I haven't got that same feeling. And I said, that's fine. You don't have to like them. It's like, you just don't. We don't want you to be scared of them. We want you to enjoy your holiday.
Yes.
And he said, I don't want to stroke it, and I don't want to touch it, but I'm happy for it to do that. And so, well, that's fine. And so I have worked with people with phobias where I've not, like with flying, I can't say let's get on a plane and see if you've still got the phobia. But what I do is with something like that, to sort of prove that it's worked, you can tell by getting them to tell the story again, and then notice how they feel and what comes up for them. Because they can at the end of it, if they can go through an experience and talk about it in a calm way and not get any emotional charge, then your work's done, basically, don't you? You know that. Okay, but also, the great thing about it, you can say to them, look, you're fine, you can talk about it now, and you're not getting any emotional charge. And if you do get to the airport and you feel a little bit of anxiety, you can take control, because you now know how to tap, and you can bring that emotional, that anxiety level down. So the great thing about this technique is you do help people, but then you teach people to help themselves, don't you?
Yes.
And it gives them the power. That's what I love.
I'm aware people use it to a greater or lesser degree on their own. I'm somebody who, like that, would use it for a symptom, like something that's happening now. But personally, I wouldn't use it on my own to work through, say, a traumatic memory. I would want someone to work with who would hold the space for me and guide me through that. But if I had a mild headache, I would tap on that. Or if I'm about to go into something scary, I don't know, let's say it was an interview, or start running a training, and I'm like, prepare myself, and I might tap then, just to come to a calm place. So it sounds like you've worked with a lot of phobias.
I've worked a lot with phobias. I get a lot of anxiety and panic attacks, and normally this time of the year I get a lot. It's not happened this year because there's no exams. A lot of parents bring in their teenage children and it's got worse as the years have gone on with exam stress. and panic attacks and anxiety. So I get a lot of that.
If you would like to know more about EFT, please subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. Thank you for watching.